to cultivating harmony. As we are in winter in Chinese medicine, I've already discussed a lot about its connection to the kidneys as well as the emotion of fear. However, one of the things I have not yet discussed is the other connection to something called zhi, or what can be translated as willpower. In other words, it's our ambition, our sense of survival and thriving, as well as fulfilling true destiny. And I find that this is also closely tied to the concept of discipline. I think most of us can agree that willpower kind of has more of a positive connotation to it than does discipline, especially in Western culture. I think the Western world really tries to distance itself from any form of discipline, whether it's self-directed or by authority. However, I really wanted to take this time to reflect on what discipline is and its rightful place in our lives, as this is something I think that a lot of people struggle with today. And it also reminds me of a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche, which says, "He that cannot obey himself shall be commanded." And while I find that you can really dive deep with just this single quote, I think for today's purposes, we can really relate it to the fact that without discipline, men and women are really slaves to our desires and instincts, whether it be food, sexual, technology, emotions. If we do not exercise control over ourselves, it's very common, especially in modern times, to lean towards excess. And this really shows up in many of the prevalent addictions that we have today. An addiction is really more or less something that's understood to be a parasite in Chinese medicine. It's something that attaches to us, that we lose power or control of, that sucks off of us and depletes our energy. When our kidneys are not strong or supported, it makes it much easier for these parasites or these negative spirits to not only attach to us, but to take hold and find themselves very comfortable. And that's because our body's own natural ability to repel these things is compromised. And conversely, since willpower and discipline is represented by the water element, it also gives birth to the next element, which is wood. So when we have ample discipline, in turn, it's able to give birth to inspiration and creativity. When a mother has a full cup to give from, the child is then able to benefit or flourish. And this is the transition of water to wood. So discipline is often a result to a routine, a rhythm, some type of habit formation. And only then are we able to move on to the next phase, which is inspiration. A great example I was given of this is how an artist organizes their supplies, their paints, whatever medium they're using. When their color palettes are organized, they're disciplined in cleaning and putting them away and putting them in the same place every time, they are able to just focus on the vision and create. Great artists, if you ever have watched someone, make a piece of art, the artist is rarely spending time actually looking at the paint colors that they're choosing or searching around for things. Almost all of their total focus and attention is on the piece that they are working on before them. And since they're not searching for every supply or color, they're able to feel this natural flow of creativity and inspiration, which then translates into their artwork. And this is the natural transmutation of water to wood. All right, sorry, my camera battery died, so I had to charge it and I took a little break. If you saw on Instagram, you know where I went. But getting back into it, since winter is related to the element or phase of water, it really brings the image to my mind of a swamp. Now, we know in everyday living, right, that flowing or moving water is actually the purest or cleanest, safest to drink water versus water that is sitting or stagnant. So the idea of a swamp being this kind of sticky, mucky, it's difficult to get out of, stagnant water is overall not beneficial for us. And when you're lacking discipline or willpower, I think it's kind of that same feeling that's being generated. So we can start by becoming more disciplined and increasing our willpower by just becoming more dedicated to a routine or a habit. Whether it's just making your bed every morning, doing a difficult task, or working for maybe another 10 extra minutes where you would rather just stop or you would normally give up on. Sticking to this idea of over time building up these little increments will slowly start to exercise that muscle and increase your drive and discipline, which will enable you to over time do more and more. It's kind of this positive feedback loop. Now, beyond my winter videos, which will be linked, if this is really something that you're having a difficult time cultivating, I do suggest that every year that you're really taking a rest and more time to reflect in the fall and winter, but especially winter, which would be mainly November, December, January. It's a time of conserving so that you can be at your very best in the long term. Also, getting acupuncture is a really great way that I suggest to support or really kind of get that energy, that kick in the butt, to help support your kidneys. And because it really requires almost no effort to do, anyone who really feels kind of stuck in that funk or really drained is a really great idea to get started. But in the long term, and really what we want to see is making those food choices that are best suited for each season, along with our conduct or how we behave, our lifestyle choices every day. All right, we'll see you guys. Thank you so much.